Here's the smoke in Prince George from the fires. We don't have any fires in our immediate area, so we're not 100% sure where all this smoke is coming from. But there's a lot of it in the air right now. I'm going to be going west today on a ride out to a campsite that we used to use many years ago on a really beautiful lake called Francois Lake. And we're going to see how far the smoke goes west, and so I'm trying to figure out where this smoke is coming from. We do have a couple of fires apparently to the north of us, and we have quite a few of them to the south, but the ones to the south are a long way south. So whether the smoke has drifted that far or if it's from a more local fire, I really don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what happens as I go west, to see if the smoke thins out or gets thicker. I hope it doesn't get any thicker. Well, it doesn't really look like the smoke is getting any thinner as we head west. If anything, it almost looks like it's getting a little heavier. But I guess we'll see as we get further on just how thick this smoke is going to get. So I don't know whether there's a fire up towards Fort St. John, or Fort St. James, sorry, or just where the fire is, but the smoke certainly isn't getting any thinner. Now coming up to Fort Fraser, which is quite a ways out of Prince George by 140 kilometers, and the smoke is still hanging in the air. So far the temperature's come up to 25 degrees. It's supposed to hit 32 today. So we'll see what happens. This road is the turnoff from Highway 16 to the campsite. It's about 32 kilometers into the campsite from here. You can see the road is fairly rough. It's a good test for suspension, so you don't really want to play Johnny Road Racer on it. The other thing is that it's home to an awful lot of deer, moose, bears, other sort of critters that you really don't want to meet on the road. And an awful lot of these corners are blind, so you really kind of want to watch yourself on the road. But it is very scenic, and it's kind of a fun ride. As you'll see later on, we do meet some of those critters. But it was definitely a fun day. Very popular spot for fishermen, as well as out in the main body of the lake. It's a pretty big lake, so you have to try and find a place where the fish are, and this is a fairly popular spot. Nobody out there today though. As you come down the hill here, you'll come to a sliding gate, and as you people that camp here get a little key fob that opens and closes the gate, so they can open it and close it as they come and go. The campsites here are privately owned, most of them, and the cabins are all privately owned. You can rent a campsite for the season, but they don't do like daily rentals here. So it's more people that are staying here for long term. They have a store here, they've got a dock with fuel, they've got basically everything that you would need, so there's really not a big need to run to town. They also have a swimming pool. So it's a very pretty place. I didn't do a really good job, unfortunately, of getting pictures of all the campsites, but it was a long weekend, and you can see there's a lot of vehicles here, so the place was pretty much full, and it is a very popular spot. It's kind of convenient. It's close to, fairly close to Prince George, and the area is out west as well. I didn't get a real good picture of them as the camera was kind of in the wrong spot. But as I come up over this hill, as you can see, there's some black spots on the road that turned out to be pretty big. They're mama bear and a couple of cubs. They kind of headed off into the bush really quickly, which I was thankful for. So it gives you an idea why you have to take it easy on this road. Once again, back in Fraser Lake, and I pulled into the Chevron here for some fuel for the bike and a little bit of fuel for myself. Had a cold drink and a quick snack. And I happened to notice from a restaurant next door 4 Harley riders pulling out. So I pulled out with them, and we rode with them all the way to Vanderhoof, which was kind of nice to have a little bit of company on the road for a change. And yeah, it was a nice ride. I noticed the smoke was a little bit less here, but as we got further east, the smoke started getting a little thicker again. But it was certainly nice to have a little company to ride with. Well, I'm back in Prince George here, and as you can see, the smoke is definitely still here. So it hasn't disappeared by any stretch of the imagination, but hopefully it'll be getting better in the next few days. They're just going over the bridge over the Nechako River, and then up the hill, and then I'll be home. So it was a pretty good day and pretty good ride all together. Got to see a mama bear and some cubs very briefly, and a really nice campsite. And here I am home again, and the trip is over.